For this painting, I'm using a half a sheet of paper. I just wanted a smaller painting. I'm using 3 colors, pink, a light purple, and a dark purple. And I'm going to start with the pink in a circle. Then I'm going to take the lighter purple and go around it in a circular motion. And then the last color will be the dark color around. So I'm going back and forth blending my paint, making sure I'm holding my paintbrush up on its tippy toes and in the middle of the brush. Then there is a harsh line where the dark purple and light purple meet, so I'm blending that by going back and forth over it until they kind of look like they're smoothly transitioning into one another. After this, I thought some stars would look nice. They end up not being perfectly circular like a star, so I end up trying just to blend them back in. So I used my finger for the pink, and then my brush still had some purple on it, so I just brushed those to the sides, and it actually looked really cool like that. Now we need to let this fully dry before we can add our stencil. Okay, so now to finish my unicorn stencil, I'm going to place my stencil where I'd like it. So I might go right here. I have to also think about, like, I need some land somewhere because I mean unicorns do fly, I think, but we're going to have it on some land. So I'm going to leave a little bit of space on the bottom. It's okay if I cut off the tail a little bit. And then I'm going to use a pencil. You want it to be kind of sharp so that way I can get all the tiny details. And carefully holding down the stencil with a lot of your fingers, we're going to go all the way around and try and get all these little details if we can. Sometimes if it's like too tiny where my pencil like can't reach in there like there, I'm just going to leave it and not try to trace in there, and then I will just connect the lines once I move this stencil and try my best. All right, and the horn also is broken off, so I will have to draw a new horn on. You want to make sure you're not doing any extra pencil lines, or try not to mess up because it's really hard to erase on paint. Even though the paint is dry, it's very hard. Okay, so I have to connect this in here. When I have the paint the way I like it, I'm going to go in with black paint. I could also use a black ink marker to do the outline, and then even like a black color pencil to do the tiny parts. And I think I'm going to do that just to make sure I'm staying in the line. All right, here we go. This one's a brand new one that I used to test out, so it's working nicely. So I'm going to use this black marker and just go all the way around the outline. In any small little areas where I know it's going to be hard to fill in with my paintbrush, I'm just going to fill those in. So all these little hairs, I'm just going to fill in because it's going to be hard to get that with a paintbrush. So doing this will help make sure that you are staying in the lines. It's also going to give, when you're painting, like a nice clean line around the outside. If you're not staying in the lines, it's not going to end up looking like whatever stencil you picked out. So try and stay in the lines as much as you can. We also have to be careful about the ink. It might be wet. So when I'm coloring, I'm putting my hand above the paper, holding it straight up and down, just so I don't rest my hand in the wet ink. Okay, now I have it all traced. I'm going to kind of think about where's the small parts. Maybe the hooves are kind of tiny. I mean, I'm not pressing really hard with my ink pen because we don't want to be like ruining the tip of it, so you don't have to press hard. If you need more ink, you just press down on it and more will come. Okay, I should be able to manage most of the rest with like a bigger brush to go faster. to grab a small blue one, but I think since I traced it around, I should be able to use like a bigger yellow one or even an orange one. So using the black paint, we're just going to move this around to fill in the shape. You don't always have to use black. You could always use a different color. Most of the time black is used because how the light hits objects, if the sun is behind it, it makes the object look black. If you ever want to like test that, go when it's like a sunset and look at the trees. They don't look green at all or brown. They look black almost. Okay, I'm gonna go back because I have some globs that I need to probably like smooth out. So I'm gonna kind of go back and smooth them out, and then I can always wipe off my excess on the inside of this cup. Any excess paint, you can kind of wipe it off because I got a lot of globs here. And if we have globs, it's going to take longer to dry, and it does look better if all the paint is nice and smooth. Okay, I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll take off the paint, and then I should be done with the painting. Okay, so I just ended up adding stars because this summer I ended up testing putting white paint into one of these paint markers. So instead of ink, I used white paint, and it actually worked. So I did just like tiny dots. We'll probably only use this to add like tiny dots to things or eyes, you know, like the little pupils and eyes once we paint them. That would be perfect for this. So now I'm ready to take off the tape. And I love doing this part because I love the look of that white border. Just remember to do it nice and slow. And if you're having troubles where it's tearing your paper, pull away from the paper, like at an angle like this. Obviously, I got some paint under my tape, but that's okay. From a far away distance, like you won't be able to really tell. Sometimes, like if I had that where it's starting to tear on one side, I end up just peeling it from the other direction, and it works out really nicely. Oh no, I forgot my land. So since I forgot my land, we're just gonna say it is flying, and that'll be okay. Otherwise, I could add tape back down on the bottom part and then paint it again, but it's okay. So here is a finished piece.